What's up, everyone? I'm Joe Lemon. Thank you so much for tuning back into the podcast. I got this one I want to dive right into is it's a throwback episode with Arvell Craig. And at the time, I didn't know a lot about chatbots. And so I brought Arvell on the show. He was so gracious. He joined in, provided a ton of information about chatbots and messenger apps. He was one of the speakers at the DigiMarCon conference last year. To give you some quick backstory, I reached out to the speakers and I was just getting my podcast really going last year and started to get into a good groove and start bringing on guests. I reached out to the guys at the Digital Marketing Conference, asked their main speakers to jump on the podcast. A lot of the guys did. Man, me and Arvell really hit it off. And we're going to dive into the piece of the conversation where we're talking about how marathon training translates just to being more disciplined in life and just all the other benefits that happen with it. So I think you guys are really going to have fun with this one. I really enjoyed it. I'm getting back in the running as well. So when I first recorded this, I was just getting ready for my first marathon. Did that in San Francisco. It's a really it's a really weird place to start doing marathon training. Let me say that. I mean, to actually do your first marathon, because I totally disrespected the amount of hills and running across the bay and all that. It's much bigger than what you think. So anyway, long story short, I got through my marathon though. I crushed that, did it, put a check in the box. But I wanted to keep running because it's not even about just the physical training aspect of it, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but there's something about just keeping your mind sharp and just keeping yourself from getting mentally soft, for those that know what I'm talking about, right? And so we talk a little bit about that and how it translates into life and business. But so enjoy this quick conversation with Arvell Craig, really good guy. Go follow him. I'll have the links in the show notes. And if you're in LA next week, DigiMarCon is launching off, so it starts Tuesday and Wednesday next week in Santa Monica. If you're around, we'd love to link up with you. We'd love to throw you on the podcast, pick your thoughts on everything from healthcare and how it's changing to the workforce and how that's evolving. And then, of course, I'm always down to talk shop about sales and marketing. So you can reach me at Joe Alex Lemon, and please subscribe. So with that said, let's dive into today's show. But one that I think we're gonna link up on pretty quick is you're into marathons.
Yeah.
Ultra marathons too, though.
I've done one ultra. To be honest.
Hey man, look. Yeah. If you've done one, you've done almost 200 of them because that's enough, right? I mean, I'm about to do my very first marathon, man, and I was like, man, I just decided to do it earlier this week. I haven't ever done one before, but I'm sure you probably learned so much from doing marathons, dude. Especially ultras.
Oh yeah.
Talk about it, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, this is great. I mean, that's. Yeah, I mean, I've got this whole poster. I know I've got some content on there on Do It Daily. Okay. I mean, I'm a eclectic guy, creative, business guy, hustler, whatever. Mm-hmm. But in 2013, I honestly was hating life, hating business, was growing. I mean, did really well when I used to focus on search engine optimization. And things were going really well, but Google made some changes. And I guess at my age, my maturity, I didn't know how to shift when Google shifted and when business shifts, ups and downs. Yep. It was my first up. So it was my first real down. And I didn't handle it well. And one day, the story goes, I did like Forrest Gump. And I just ran in Tulsa, hot, humidity. I had cousins there. I just ran. And then a couple miles here, my wife was running. She did a half marathon that year. I just started doing it. Wow. But eventually, within 6 months, I got a little better and better. Eventually did my first marathon. But the lessons was somehow, I don't know, within that first year, the endorphins kicked in.
Yeah.
And so it was no longer a logical, it was no longer health. It was, that pleasure kicked in. Mm-hmm. I began to wake up. I always wanted to be a morning person. Never was. Read all the books, read all the stories.
Really?
Couldn't do it.
Okay.
But when marathons, when I started training, I became addicted to I lost weight that I never lost since I was like in high school. Oh. I felt good. The endorphins was kicking in, the energy. It just changed me. So I became a morning person.
Wow.
And I've never been that consistent in anything. I do a lot of things. I've been cutting hair for 30 years. That's another,
Okay, there you go. Barber as well. Okay.
Yeah, you're not going to find out there. But nothing I've done has been that consistent. You think about content and creation. I heard you talking earlier about marketing and all this, but somehow marathons caught me.
Wow.
And running 6 days a week, nonstop for 16 weeks was a metamorphosis of my physical body, my emotional, my mind. And I was like, I've never seen that kind of transformation. And then I began to stack habits with it so I could wake up and I could run and I can pray. So I began to, load all these other things. Now that I'm a morning person, I get stuff done early. Anyway, but I love marathons for what it did to me as far as helping me for the first time in my life become a consistent person.
Man, there's really something there. I mean, and I can go there with you, I feel like, because, man, one of the best times and worst times I had was when I was going through a trying time right before I moved out to L.A. In Atlanta. Me and the wife had our house. I'm like, man, should we leave? Should we pick up and go all the way to the West Coast? And I started doing these prayer walks. So I'll just wake up early morning. I'm always been an early guy just because I used to be a personal trainer for years. And so I had clients at 4:30. Like, it was crazy. These guys wanted to work out at 5. So I'm getting up at 4:30 so I can meet them at the gym. And always a morning guy. But then I got out of that, started doing sales, things started drifting. But anyway, I got into these prayer walks, man. And man, it was the best thing for me. It wasn't a good time for me. Like, like on the outside, it didn't look that great. but spiritually, it felt phenomenal. And I think when you incorporate that spiritual aspect with movement, there's something that's special that happens there. I really can't put it into words that well, but I can feel you, man. So are you on the road, man, for like what, hours at a time or what? Is it kind of in and out type of thing? Are you out there for like 45 minutes? Are you
in training?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not training anything right now. I'm
Okay.
on the edge. I need to figure out what I'm going to do in the fall. I want to run at least one marathon a year.
Okay.
So I ran one last year in December in Florida, which is bad.
That's tough, man.
Humidity and everything. It's
Yeah.
not a good choice. But so there's a couple I want to do. Either Baltimore, which is the National Black Marathoners
B-more,
thing.
yeah.
That's like the big one that I want. I've never interacted with that group. I want to join and connect with them. Or I got a friend that's doing Vegas, his second year in a row, the Vegas Night Marathon. I'm thinking about that. So I don't know. So I want to, and then soon I'm going to start training for something. But right now I'm running between 3 and 6 a day. I try to, and then I want to get one long one a week, at least 10 miles. So,
Yeah.
I did like 18 a few weeks ago, but, but it's all, right now it's super slow and just, taking it easy, having fun.
That's cool though, man. That's cool, man. I mean, but so not only are you this guru when it comes to chatbots and messenger, and you were just getting on me really quick. I was just putting me on game. I was missing out on so much, man. This is good. But it's like you're also an author, man. You got time to write books as well, man. I mean, so how'd you get into that type of mode? I mean, like, how'd you get into writing your very first book? Because I thought the actual title was super, super cool. I haven't read it yet, man. Sanctified Ambitions.
Yeah.
Talk about it, man. Why'd you choose that book to write? What was kind of going on in your life then?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned marathons as a good pillar of life. Another pillar is, man, when I got to college, I never read books growing up, ever. Like I never finished.
Audiobook guy or?
No, there was no audiobook. Back in the 90s, no. But I was never a reader. I never liked to read. I was never good at it. And somehow when I got to college, I joined organization. I just somehow self-help books caught me. I'm back in 96, 97. Somehow, whether 7 Habits or How to Win Friends and Influence People, somehow my little impressionable self got swept away. I never even heard language that I could be somebody else, that I could improve. I was always shy. I was always quiet. All these kind of insecurities. Again, I felt overweight. I had a gap in my teeth. I just had all these insecurities. I was short. My brother's like 6'3", other brother's 6'2". My dad's 6'2", and I'm the little, 5'8", 5'7". So I'm just saying, I just had insecurities. I was the youngest child, but somehow in 97, 98, began reading books. And I began to read books about reading books. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, 2 days, took 12 pages of notes, changed. It was just amazing. I became addicted, kind of like when I was running, into reading. I read books on how to read faster. I read, Mortimer Adler's How to Read a Book. I read, speed reading books. But anyway, I read all the books. Eventually, just my nature is to help people and encourage. Somehow I was impacted so much by books, just in my mind and my little motivational young self. Just figured one day I would, be a speaker, I would be a motivator, and I would write books too. So just a general idea. So I said, I'm going to, again, reading those books makes you want to make big, hairy, audacious goals, makes you want to do all this big stuff. I say, hey, I'm going to write, 50 books or 100 books in my life, and just something crazy. 10, 11, 12 years go by, and I never wrote one. But again, a couple of years ago, I just, got tired of it. I just mainly made a decision to just write something. I think what I did was I said, what do I believe? And that was the original premise of the book. I just needed to detox and write down, what do I believe about life, everything, maybe from a spiritual. So I just began to write all these rules, principles about life. there was like 10, 12, 15 of them. But then the editing process of writing a book, like somebody told me just write every day. This lady told me she writes lots of books. She's an author, editor, ghostwriter. She told me just write every day. Spend, even if it's a paragraph or a page, 100 words every day. Wow. And I did that for about a year. And then, not every day, but I wrote consistently. I just wrote. Eventually, now you got to edit. And the editing process took me years because I just wasn't in the mood. I got all my thoughts out.
Yeah.
And then I had to edit it. So I ended up cutting the book in half. Like, okay, I just want the best of the best. If it's not, I just got tired of editing. So that's why the 6 lessons on how to sense God through success and failure came out. But that was just my little life lessons. What do I believe about life, and what do I think is real and what is true in the most generic, overarching, universal way to view life, at least from a Christian perspective. That's kind of what that book was. So
super cool.
But yeah, so I like writing. I want to write, a couple more.
You know what's so cool too, man, is that I was listening to several of your talks, man, just trying to do my homework on you, trying to figure out what you're about, what you stand for. And I'm like, man, you don't just talk about like how you're just dominating in business. You talk about those true moments that I feel like a lot of us go through, that it's needed, that we need a voice that says, hey, I'm having a down moment in business as well, because people only talk about the ups.
Yeah.
I mean, very few posts will you see on LinkedIn, Instagram, talking about, well, this was our worst quarter. You don't hear people say that too much, I mean, however, people are having their worst quarter. And so, how'd you get to the place where you said, I want to be that transparent to where I want to just talk about the other side of business that people aren't speaking on?
I don't know. I mean, it comes natural.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the successes I have in the right context, I can share it. But I don't know what, unless I'm teaching, unless it's like a consulting, unless it's like a real one-on-one engagement, will those accolades benefit someone?
Sure.
But, it's story. Stories move. I mean, it's just real. I mean, that's just my truth. I mean, I've got, I don't know. I think it's just natural. Again, one of the chapters in the book, when I talk about the book, is
go for it,
it was normalizing failure, and it's a whole chapter about understanding how failure is normal. I love the book by John Maxwell, Failing Forward.
Yep,
and those kind of those concepts, those things kind of help me out. I remember I tell people, my wife used to hate these stories, but in my first 9 years of driving a car, I had about 18 cars. I grew up in Detroit. I grew up in a motor city.
Okay.
But I had about 19 cars from the age of 15 to 23.
Jeez.
18 cars. And all that means is that I had the worst cars you could imagine.
Okay.
Because it only lasted 6 months.
I got
on
you.
average.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've got the
just
most.
enough to get through, yeah.
It's just
A to B's, yeah.
Yeah, so the stories of failure, stories of, all those cars, all those driving with no brakes, things happen. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. Stories that just, it's part of it. When I was in college, I got a computer science degree. It took me 6 years, all year round. There's no breaks. But I changed it for degrees. But if you look at my transcript, I failed probably 20 to 25 classes.
Wow.
Retook. Took, Calc 1. I took it again. Chemistry, I took it 3 times. Computer science, I took it 3 times. Calc 2, or algebra. So many classes I took. I failed. I took it again. I failed. I took it again. I passed. By my 6th year, or my 5th year, I was tutoring people because I knew all those things so well because I took it so many times. Somehow I just had the ability and I enjoyed helping people and I knew what they were struggling with. That's just my story. It's failure, learning from it, helping somebody else. There's just a lot of, I guess that's just my truth. That's my normal.
Whoa, man, you know what? That right there applies directly to business. I mean, because there's no real entrepreneur that's going to tell you that they haven't failed in business. I mean, I don't care how great your product or service is. At some point, you hit, some type of roadblock or some friction, or you didn't meet expectations, whatever that may be. Man, does that translate really well in business world? Are your clients kind of giving you that same feedback? I'm sure they are.
Oh, you're talking about like coaching clients, anybody else? Yeah, I mean,
clients,
anybody that, if they're going through, they don't always get open. They don't always share what they're feeling. But when somebody does go there and they want to go there, it's like, you definitely can talk to someone. You can reach them. You could, man, life is long. And it's you definitely, the ups and downs are natural. And one big thing I'm realizing about how we have to really be honest and intentional about seeing this is that I'm realizing how easy it is to go through failures without change, or go through just realizing that age doesn't mean growth. Experience doesn't mean growth. It's just, hope it's related, but that's just something that's really hit me lately about, experience and time does not mean you've changed or you've actually learned the lesson. Anyway, that's just something that I'm thinking about. So yeah, so when it comes to coaching, talking to someone, if they're open to it, yeah, there's definitely a lot of space to grow and help someone to get over whatever's keeping them stuck.
You see a lot of people get stuck in life, and I think it's very. And one thing that's interesting about business is that if you get stuck in business, you will get passed by. I feel like it's one of those only. Not saying the only places. It's kind of, I guess, it applies to multiple different aspects of life. But it's I was watching some of your talks from 3-4 years ago, and we were talking about email marketing and whatnot, and it's like, cold emailing is still relevant, but chatbots are more interesting.
Definitely,
right? So matter of fact, let's just kind of talk about the business a little bit. So, once you talk about cold emailing, do you think that's still relevant today? What's the whole outlook and the whole future of like cold emailing? Would you say still has a place?
Yeah,
it still has a seat at the table, right?
To me, cold email is
king.
The way it's working now, to me, it's new.
Wow.
Most of the again, if depending on how you look at it,
sure,
the platforms that are used for cold email, whether it's, I guess HubSpot has one now. There's Tout, there's Mailshake. All these cold email platforms are new. They're all like 3 years old.
It's true.
4 years old.
Yeah.
In other words, learning how to email where you're not using MailChimp, you're not using a traditional email marketing service where Google is going to know, it's going to put you in a promotions tab, put you in the updates. It's clearly a marketing email.
Yeah.
The cold email platforms that use Google and use Microsoft Exchange, but they look like a personal email, but they're able to mass, so there's all these rules. But to me, it's new. It's, so it's definitely good. And especially with, you mentioned chatbots, there's a company that does email, they're called Conversica, but they do email through AI where it's not a real person that's doing all the follow-up. So I think there's definitely email still, relevant, and there's some merging of, I know there's going to be some merging of AI and email. I think even HubSpot is starting to add AI in their sales stuff. So there's
a little bit. So I use HubSpot a lot, and they have that sequencing feature that is nice. But the AI where it automatically responds, that seems like I just haven't seen it. I'm not saying it's not there, but have you seen some other tools out there like that where they have the AI built into the email response?
Yeah, at least I know that one company, Conversica. I met them a year ago at a conference, and I've seen their stuff, and I'm kind of trying to keep them in front of my mind. But no, I think email is still it's the granddaddy of marketing.
Okay,
and it's not going anywhere. Yes, it's not the same. It's not as relevant. It's not as whatever. But the ROI is still better than anything else, and so it still works. So
interesting. So all right, how would you, once you're thinking about a proper mix for in your clients, and they got email that they want to do. They want to spend some time on Facebook ads, and they want to spend some time maybe trying to get some drift type of chatbots laid on their actual website. Is there a certain split that you kind of always say, hey, you need about, half on email, half on like Facebook? Is there like a, any type of set formulas for it in your clients? Everything's customized?
Yeah, it's all different. It's because, B2B, and, if they have a, whatever you call those, sales development reps, and then some cold email, you got to, buy your list or do your LinkedIn, scraping, hustling. It's just a different business model. It's completely different. And so those are running ads. The chatbots that we do is all funnels. It's all marketing related. It's not drift or intercom or just a live chat. It's not just an agent, but we specifically use Facebook Messenger's platform as the means for all that we do. And so it's very direct response related. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So is it like a AI response, or is it a live person on the other side of the Facebook Messenger?
No, it's all the bot. It's all chatbot. It's
Wow.
not. There's no human involved in it.
Wow.
Again, we program it unless they need to.
Yeah.
But for 90% of the campaigns, it is the idea of engaging in a conversation with someone, qualifying them, booking an appointment, providing a lead magnet, subscribing to a webinar. So we integrate eventually the email and chatbot going back and forth, and then if they need to talk to a live person, we can do that. But most of the cases, it's just like a landing page, like a funnel.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you're having the bots lead everybody back to an actual landing page, and then they kind of get put into their inbound system, whatever that looks like for them.
Yep. But you can do it all with the bot too. The bot can follow up. The bot can nurture.
Wow.
The bot can drip content. The bot can do all that.
man, you're building it out.
Again, the tools are there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I tell people the stuff that we use is as simple as using MailChimp or, Salesforce or use some other marketing automation.
Yeah.
Facebook in 2016 opened up Facebook Messenger for businesses to do marketing automation type stuff.
Yeah.
And so there's, tons of platforms that do it. And so it's not that complicated. You just, learn the best practices and optimizing it takes some time. But
obviously, I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball with this one.
Sure, No worries.
But do you feel like the majority of the market's kind of caught on, or do you feel like you're kind of educating the market as every time you show up for meetings and you're teaching people about chatbots? Or do you feel like a lot of people have?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I was about to, okay, cool. I feel better. I feel better.
And even trying to distinguish what you can do on Facebook versus what you think about a Drift or Intercom and live chat and pure chat and all those other things, it's a completely different philosophy. That's like a friend of mine calls it messenger funnels because it's mixed. Instead of using the word chatbot because that alludes to a lot more complexity, and you just think of a messenger funnel. Facebook Messenger funnel is a better language to use to describe kind of the stuff that we're doing.
So, if you don't mind me kind of getting in the weeds a little bit, what's the budget like for companies that want to get involved with trying to get this set up? Like as far as having a messenger funnel laid out, because if they go through MailChimp and whatnot, it's pretty inexpensive. You can get on you can upload, thousands of contacts for relatively nothing. Mm-hmm. What's the whole cost to kind of get started with messenger funnels?
Yeah, again, it varies. Yeah, it does vary. But again, we've got packages to start between $3,000 to $4,000.
Okay.
To get them set up.
Yep.
And get them running. But again, it's looking at their current campaigns, because again, our goal is to me, the chatbot funnel is going to do two things. Number one is going to be the lead generation.
Yep.
And it's also going to be lead qualifying. Because I was thinking, our clients, they may get leads. They may do some Facebook ads and lead forms. But it's not just the issue of the leads. It's about, again, the value of a chatbot is a chat. It's a conversation.
Sure.
So it's like, instead of that salesperson grabbing those cold calls, grabbing those inbound leads, making some introductory calls, some discovery calls, and seeing that, of course, you got to chase the leads first. First, you got to, you got to find them, get all these leads.
Get them on the horn, yeah.
And so that's what the chatbot is really doing. It's doing that work for you, and it's doing some of the initial lead generation for you. So that's like the budget is kind of, in one sense, it's $3,000 to $4,000, but we're looking at what exactly it's going to do, what we're going to program it to do. You can connect to databases, we can grab other data, do other kind of stuff. So it can get complex.
Man, I can already I'm just thinking about all these SDRs out there, people that just do outbound cold calls all day, 100 calls a day. I had one of those jobs. One of my first sales jobs it was tough. Just in the cubicle, just sweating away, punching away. But this is taking away that whole process, it sounds like, or it can. Am I right?
Yeah, it's. No time soon.
Sure.
But again, they say, the SDRs are going to learn how to use the tools. They're going to, these. What they need to do is learn the tools and learn what's happening, and they'll be able to manipulate it in a way and optimize it. But, definitely in the next 10, 20 years, there are statistics that say certain low level, if it's just grunt work.
Yeah. If you're just digging in the weeds.
That's going to be automated. That's going to be a bot. That's going to be Google, Google AI. It's going to be
smooth, man. Sexy though. Because I don't think anybody needs that type of work. If you can set yourself up to not have to make those type of crazy amount of calls and just all that no's and being hung up on steadily. Why? It's not good for the whole marketplace. I think if you can get people that are interested reaching out to you, that's a huge win.
Right.
Yeah. So all right. I want to talk a little bit about sales and marketing as well. So, how was it for you when you had to start selling your own business and really try to sell your own services? Was it easy for you to kind of get into the whole sales role? Because you were doing marketing for years, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
15 plus years, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So was like doing sales an easy crossover for you?
No, actually it has been easy. It depends on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I was still in college.
Okay.
So when you start at home, kids nowadays are, 11, 12 years old, watching Gary Vee, watching Grant Cardone.
Sure.
And they're like, they're all hustling.
They're mad hype.
So it's a different world now. But when I was in college and the web was, starting out, I had security.
Yeah.
And when you just have a gift or a talent or ability, and I was like solving problems, like helping people,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't too hard to begin to do that. And then when you don't know, when you just sell yourself cheap, which I did, just to get the business, whatever you got to do to get the business, that's how the first couple of years were. And that's how I did it for a while. And then, I had a little job, and then, then I had a family. And then I lost a job, and I really hit it hard. So in those times, if your my one little bullet was going cheap or being competitive, that worked. Recently, as this new business I got now, it's been different. So now it's like I don't go cheap, and I'm getting back in there now with this new chatbot company. So it is a bit challenging, not going cheap and trying to knowing what you stand for. And when you kind of bring all that to the game, it is a little different, but it's definitely challenging. I've got a sales coach helping me out with some things, helping me out with my discovery calls. I got a mastermind group that I joined like 3 months ago just on chatbots. That's, accountability there. So I definitely am I invest into figuring out what it's going to take.
I think it's super smart, man. I mean, I think you're in a really interesting part with the whole industry. I mean, I try to stay up on things, and I feel like I'm way behind with this. I feel like I'm clueless, But that just goes to show you how ripe this actual industry is, though, and just for someone to kind of be the leader and be the voice of it. So,
just to give you the one stat, the big stat is that there's 1.3 billion people who just use Facebook Messenger, just the app, not Facebook. That's the one critical stat that helps people understand what is the market like. 1.3 billion people just use Messenger. Number one. Number two, again, this is like 2 years ago, 2015, more individuals chat, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Messenger, more people chat versus scroll through like Facebook and Instagram.
Wow. That's crazy. That's a crazy stat. I had no clue that was going on.
Yeah, so that's 2015. More people want it. It's like, so there's this, the social media grows, Web 2.0, and there's internet, there's connectedness, there's social media, there's Web 2.0 where you're social and you're sharing. But then in 2015, it's kind of shifted. It's a one-on-one. It's a group. It's a one-on-one. It's a group. That happened in 2015. Then in 2016, Facebook says, okay, when businesses see the opportunity, that's when they open up to other businesses.
Right. And
now you got ads that show up in Messenger and WhatsApp, and Facebook buys WhatsApp. Yep. So and you can start running ads through WhatsApp too, and there's going to be bots through there. So that's the trend. But the thing is, businesses don't do it.
Yeah.
Businesses, there's like 300,000 or so businesses that have bots.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of all those billions of people that are using it, there's only 300.
Well, I think about 300,000. Last year, like 100,000 or 200,000.
Oh my goodness!
So that's the thing.
That's what opportunity is.
And that's what people don't understand. It's like businesses are not using it, but people are. And so right now, I'm saying the window is open right now. Yep. Even if it's just for 6 months or a year, it's like being 2005 and paying 20 cents a click, and you didn't know, man, this is expensive. I want to pay 1 cent a click.
Right.
People said that. People complain when they were spending 50 cents a click because other people were spending 20 cents. And they're like, oh, I'm complaining. And then you got 10 years later, you wish, So that's one thing I've learned, and just realizing it is like,
you can see the trend again.
This is a new opportunity.
Yeah.
Am I going to watch it go by? Like I watch Instagram, like I watch all these things. I haven't jumped on anything in a while since SEO in 2011. I said, okay, let me jump on this.
Yeah.
See what happens.
So you're like all in on like everything's like Facebook right now for you, I would imagine. Is that your biggest platform?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. How do you feel about LinkedIn? Any interest there, or you kind of dibble and dab?
No, it's good. I'm now that I'm hustling, I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
And figuring out my market. I use Facebook for ads, but I use LinkedIn for B2B, more direct.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
I made a real good 2 days ago. I met a guy through there, and we met this morning. We met today noon. Through LinkedIn, never met in person.
Yeah.
But just directly talked to him. We got on the phone yesterday. We met today at a coffee shop here in LA.
That's perfect.
So LinkedIn, it's good.
Man, I've really enjoyed this whole conversation, man. And there's just so much I don't know about this. I mean, that I'm glad that I at least have people like you in my network now that I can say, dude, this is overwhelming. And I'll be looking for more and more of your content coming out because people need to know about chatbots and Messenger apps and really how to run ads through it. The fact that there's so many people on there and businesses haven't come in and messed it up yet is
exactly.
It's a beautiful opportunity for a lot of us that are in like sales and marketing, man. Dude, man. So I got this question. And so, just like that, it is a wrap. Had a lot of fun talking to Arvell, as you can tell. He dropped a lot of jewels, lots of the technical aspects of chatbots. I learned a lot from him since then. I went on to really dive into it a lot more. There's a lot of companies that are doing things creatively around conversational marketing. Drift is one of the biggest players out there right now. But, with that said, guys, reach out to Arvell. Let him know if you have any questions about implementing chatbots into your service. Let me know how you like the podcast and stay subscribed so you can tune in to the latest episode. Until next time, you guys be phenomenal.